Good evening, my dears. Welcome to Lady McCreepsta's Night Noise Horror Podcast. Today I have a treat for you. Not one, but two tales of dark entities. This first one is by author Midnite Marshall on Creepypasta.wikia. So come now, my dears. Lean in closer, and we'll begin. I lie in my bed, awakened and agitated. I had been in a deep, peaceful sleep throughout the night, yet something had caused me to snap out of my relaxed state. And I knew exactly what that something was. It was my dad snoring. The snores were always so loud that even with both my door and his door shut, I could hear his snorts from across the hallway. It was always as if over time the volume would gradually increase. I shifted over to my side and glanced down at my phone. Great, I muttered to myself. It's 2 a.m. and I need to be ready for school in 4 hours. How am I supposed to get some decent rest if Dad keeps snoring like this? I attempted to ignore the sounds and go back to sleep. I tried covering my head with my pillow, but as I began to doze off and my grip loosened, the pillow would fall off the bed. I blocked my ears with my headphones, but even with them on, I could feel the hoarseness of his snuffling in the back of my own throat. Finally, after a half hour of failed attempts to block out the noise, I threw the sheets aside and walked through the blackness of the hallway. Even in my frustrated and exhausted state, I didn't want to wake him. He was still my father, after all, and I loved him. So rather than barging into his room and ranting about how I couldn't get any rest because of him, I gently knocked on his door and opened it a crack. "Dad?" I whispered, peering my head into the dark room. At that moment, the snoring ceased. I let out a sigh of exhaustion and continued. "I can't get any sleep with you snoring like that. I have finals in a few hours, so can you please try keeping it down?" I paused to see if he'd mutter a sound of acknowledgement. No such response. He just kept on sleeping, without a care in the world. I didn't mind, though. The snoring stopped, which meant I'd be able to finally get some shut-eye again. I returned to my room and quietly shut the door before falling back in my bed, determined to close my eyes and slip into my dreams. A few minutes had passed before the snoring resumed. This time, they were much louder, more aggressive in sound. It was almost as if they were right behind my door. Fuck it, I told myself. I'm going downstairs to get sleeping pills. I got back out of bed and swung the door open, and there stood his silhouette, standing motionless, snoring right in my face. You have got to be kidding me, I thought to myself, my fingers rubbing my temples. He's sleepwalking now too? The house was almost pitch black at night, so I had to be careful not to jab him and wake him up. I didn't want to find out what sleepwalkers do when awakened. Once I found him, I placed an arm around his shoulder and cautiously guided him back to his room. Once he was back in the bed, I closed his door and proceeded to head downstairs into the kitchen, where I found the Ambien pills in the pantry. I tossed 2 into my mouth, took a swig of tap water, and tossed my head back. Sweet relief. Now, even with the constant blaring snores, I'd be able to get some decent sleep. I headed back upstairs and into my room once more. I laid back on my bed, my eyes staring at the ceiling, getting heavier over time. Before finally dozing off, I took one last look at my phone to see how much time I had left to relax. It was then that I noticed the new voicemail icon on the top left corner of the screen. Curious as to who would even try to call me so late, I hit the speed dial for my voicemail. I put the phone up to my ear and was greeted by the robotic voice. You have one new voice message. To play your messages, press 1. To change your personal greeting, press 2. To activate more options, I hit the 1 key before she could finish. According to the automated voice, the message was sent to me at around midnight. That only meant whoever this was tried to contact me while I was still asleep. The voicemail began. Hey kiddo, so it looks like you're going to be on your own for dinner tonight. I'm going to be out with Pat, so I'm probably just going to crash at his place. I just wanted to call you and let you know why I'm not home, in case you... I dropped my phone before the message finished. My eyes were wide with shock, and my body froze. If Dad's not home, I said to myself, my voice trembling, then who is... I was interrupted by the sound of snoring coming from inside my room. Except, now I know it's not snoring. It's growling right next to me. This second tale is by RockerGirl113 on Creepypasta.wikia. Since my first memories, I remember seeing the shadow. I could always see it in my peripheral vision, lingering like a dark mist. Every time I tried to look directly at it, it would float away, evading my vision. When I got older, I began to see it more and more often. It seemed to grow, and more definition seemed to be added to it. Still, however, every time I spun around to see the ominous entity, it was gone. When I glanced over my shoulder again, there it was lingering once again, taunting me and my inability to catch a full glimpse at it. I couldn't understand what it was or why it was always following me. I knew wherever I went, the dark shadow would follow me, would watch me, and laugh at me. I would spin faster and faster trying to catch a view of it, but it always seemed to spin with me, always ending up once again behind me. By the time I reached adulthood, the entity was driving me crazy. It had grown with me, once again growing in size and in definition. Because of its growth, I saw it more and more often. I didn't even have to glance behind me to catch a glimpse of it swishing in my peripheral, twitching for my attention. With its growth, it seemed slower. I could see more of it. It was definitely dark and black, but it wasn't smooth. I could see roughness around its edges and through its core. I knew if I spun faster, I would eventually be able to catch it. When I did catch it, I was going to tear it to shreds. It had been plaguing me since I was just a baby, and now it was going to pay for my sleepless nights as I watched it flow above my head and to my side, staring at me. I watch as the dark shadow twitches behind me. It was overwhelming me, and I couldn't do anything about it. I spin and snap at it, trying to catch it, but it eludes me once again. I settle and return to my time passing. Though I don't focus on it, I see the shadow lingering behind me again. I decide to let it be, to let it watch. It doesn't go away. It never goes away. I focus my peripheral on it once again. It seems to linger closer and closer, as if it is testing its luck with me, seeing how close it can get to me before I snap at it once again. I know the shadow is tangible. I can feel not only its presence, but its touch as it brushes my back. It twitches closer and closer. I can feel it touch me. I let out a growl, but the shadow doesn't seem to get my warning. It's getting even closer. I know this is my chance. If I spin now, I have a greater chance of catching it. I will finally be able to rid my world of this dark nightmare. I will finally be free. As if it senses my plan, it sways back just a little. I have to act now. The shadow may never linger this close again. I spin like a mad cat biting at the entity. Munch! My teeth lock around the black shadow, as it was too slow. I bite hard, making sure it doesn't go anywhere. I feel pain shoot through my body. It's attacking, but I'm not going to let it go. This is my only chance. I bite harder, more pain. I squall, but I don't let it go. My sharp, feline teeth dig deeper into the shadow. I twist and see that it extends all the way to my body. That must be its attack. It's one with me, attached to my rear end. I hiss as I attack the extension. I whimper in pain as a thick, red liquid squirts from it. Or is it from me? I'm not sure. I only know that if my sharp knife-like teeth causes the thing as much pain as it's causing me, it will go down if I just bite a little harder. Just a little harder. Ouch! It hurts so bad, I must stop it. I bite harder and more blood-like liquid leaks from my mouth. Phantom pain flows through me. Just die already! Just die! I snap down in one more hard, final attempt. Suddenly, the pain stops and the black entity falls down behind me, limp. I have done it. I have destroyed my eternal nightmare. I am so happy that I purr in excitement. It's finally over. I'm finally free. What did you think of those tales, my lovelies? If you're watching on YouTube, leave me a comment below. Otherwise, pop me a message on social media. I am Lady Creepypasta on both Facebook and Twitter. If you have just discovered me, welcome to my realm, my dear. Feel free to have a look around and remember to subscribe before you leave. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that bell icon as well. That is all I have for you this time, my dears. Till next time, sweet dreams.